great opportunity for him. He can go in there, clean house if he approaches it honestly and fairly. He said, for one thing, I haven't heard in a long time, I don't want any more money. He said, you know, I have my budget. That's my budget. I don't want any more money. In fact, a Democratic congressman weighed in and goes, wait a second. Don't say you don't need any more money. He goes, no, I have to find out what we're spending it on first. And he also, you know, he also said he's looking to clean house and called the actions of his prior to his arrival inexcusable. So I think that's a steady start. Why are they asking him a bunch of questions he's not responsible for?
Well, he said that, you know, the conferences where they spent all that money on the Star Trek thing in Gilligan's Island.
$49 million.
Yeah,
Why quibble?
They spent a lot of money on that. He said, Danny Werfel did, well, that was from an unfortunate vestige from a prior era. A prior era? It was last year, and he's not talking about pre-Cambrian era. This is, however, from the same administration where Benghazi was a long, long time ago. Over at the Washington Times, they've got a fellow who works there by the name of Joseph Curl. He's also one of the editors on Drudge. He was tweeting yesterday, and he's got impeccable sources. And take a look at this. Hearing from some top Hill sources that IRS scandal about to explode, low-level agency workers miffed at being blamed, about to return fire. Also, one other, hearing from some top Hill sources that one source says there's a paper trail to D.C., and some who were worried from the get-go kept a paper trail. Wouldn't say White House, but said hi.
Yeah, and you know, you can see why too. They've been thrown under the bus, and initially they said that they were basically dirt. These low-level employees in Cincinnati, and some folks are even starting to speak up and say there is no way we could have done this ourselves. If we're starting to add keywords like Patriot and Tea Party, those are not things that we can do ourselves. We have to ask permission. And there's been a call too for whether you're going to have accountability, which is definitely necessary, or will these people even possibly get immunity so that they can get answers, so they can see how high this thing goes up the food chain.
So you remember when President Bush had the problem with Valerie Plame and they said, let's have an independent prosecutor and let's get to the bottom of this. He ordered everybody to cooperate. That, whether you like President Bush or not, is called leadership. It was a stand. Nobody took the fifth. Well, right away, Lois Lerner took the fifth. We don't know who else is going to stand up, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty clear listening to Bill O'Reilly last night with his key guest, Karl Rove, who you know personally, and he once gave me a tie, and Bob Woodward, who's been here before, and someone told me he broke a big case in the 70s. I'm going to start Googling that.
That was Matlock.
You're right. That was my mistake. What happened to him? He had a great show in black and white as well. Here these two are weighing in on where the leadership should be.
The head of any organization sets the tone. And the president has errors of omission and commission. The commission is that he's running around in 2010 making speeches in which he is attacking Tea Party groups. In fact, at one point calling them teabaggers. And at another point, a series of speeches saying that the groups like this represent, quote, a threat to democracy. That's setting the wrong tone. The act of commission is when this stuff popped up in 2010, if he really was exercised about it, he or the chief of staff should have called Secretary of Treasury Geithner and said, get the undersecretary to look into this. This would be wrong if it's being done, and if it's being done, stop it and make certain it doesn't happen, that people are punished for having done it. He did neither of those. He didn't do that.
But the road to Watergate is concealment, is not coming clean and just say, oh, well, we won't have to release that memo. We won't have to let so-and-so testify. Let's call executive privilege. Let's stonewall. And if they do that, they will dig themselves in a hole, and I think they have the moral and intellectual capacity to stop that.
Bob Woodward actually said it's up to President Obama to get answers on this, so he's got to lead.
Good luck. Yes, he does, but we've said that before.